your tag and how long you've been playing?
I'm Chad Omen, and I've been playing for like 7 months.
Cool. What's your goal at the moment?
To be competitive in matches, to be able to take someone to last stock and be competitive.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. Pretty good goal. And what's what do you do in melee right now besides up the rest, wave dashing and wave landing? What do you do in terms of do you watch VODs or do you do just unranked a bunch or anything else like that?
I watch a lot of HBox, obviously. I watch a lot of the top melee players on Twitch and stuff to try to understand what everyone else does, like other characters. I play a good bit of unranked. I mainly just watch tournaments, try to see what everyone's doing because I'm like a real meta person,
Yeah, that makes sense.
To see what's popular and everything, and and obviously HBox.
Yeah.
you got to.
Yeah, no, it's definitely really important to watch HBox in general, but yeah, that's a good start for sure. So what I'll do is I'll since I'm not gonna go over a game plan for Marth and Falco because I don't think that's really a good use of our time. I'll just talk about things that happen in the game and then show you basically how to avoid doing that, because a lot of the stuff that I saw was about just general bad habits or movement situations or optimizations you could do in terms of your gameplay. But yeah, I'll just try and focus on that. But before I do that, do you use Uncle Punch?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the most beneficial thing you could do is go into Uncle Punch and do Eggscercise, which I don't know if you've seen it before. I think Mango would do it sometimes on his stream if you ever watch Mango play it, but
yeah,
overall it's just trying to practice it's a good goal, I would say, is just get your number up on this as high as possible. It's not necessarily correlating to you winning a match or whatever, but the biggest thing is just this, it just levels up your movement instantly because you want to be faster to get the eggs over and over again. And it lets you practice Wavelanding and Edgecanceling, Fastfalling, different usage of aerials without actually playing the game against another person. And it's just easy to do. Whereas unranked, you have to think about oh, I have to do a mix up, or I have to practice my punish game to do an unranked game. But this is just literally all movement, which is very, very important. So I think this is really beneficial. I practiced a lot when I was getting good. But yeah, I definitely think this is really, really beneficial overall. But that's the first thing I would practice, based on the gameplay. I think your up the wrist, wave dashing and wave landing stuff is really good. But I would definitely end the session just playing Eggscercise a bunch because it'll reinforce the concepts, because it's very hard because especially unranked, you run into a Falco player, and then it's really hard to practice movement because they're just gonna spam lasers, so you can't really practice movement stuff.
Yeah, and at the lower MMR, there's a lot of, they just drill. They're just jumping and hitting drill the whole time. That's all they're doing to you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's I think that's a problem with a lot of games when you're at the lower levels, but you're actually trying to learn, is a lot of other people aren't. So a lot of things that you practice in a meta type situation, you can't even do it.
Yeah, it's you definitely on low levels unranked, they're pretty much just abusing one thing they're doing bad, and then you're not really practicing your entire kit of what you're learning. So it's kind of counterintuitive to do unranked sometimes. In your situation, I would definitely be just spending most of my time in Uncle Punch and then just grinding. Pretty much that's what I would be doing. But I think watching HBox stuff, which we were talking about, was really good too. That's how I got somewhere, because there's so I think it's okay at a certain point to watch your own VODs, but it gets to the point where you can pretty much only learn by watching the best. So it's good that you're already starting to do that. But yeah, let me open up the game now. I just wanted to start with that because that would help you a bunch.
And then I can't, what is it called? I can't figure out how to edge cancel. I cannot figure it out at all.
Oh, I can just do that really quick before I start this game.
Because I was trying to do that in Uncle Punch, and I just can't figure it out.
Alright. So edge canceling is pretty weird. Like, which moves are you trying to do it with? Like all of them, or?
Yeah, I mean, like just that period.
Yeah. So how I think of edge canceling is, I try and get like, you see like my right foot's like basically off the platform or like right at the very edge. It's kind of how I aim my edge cancels most of the time. So I try and go like, and then like you see my foot's like barely on the platform or like slightly off. That's like what I aim for. I told someone else that and they said it was pretty good. But that's basically how I aim. But there's more to it than that. Like a lot of the times you'll see like Hungry Box or something like that. They edge cancel in the same spot like all the time. Like right here, like this is a very classic like edge cancel situation. Like you do a full hop on the platform, then you do an instant like forward air, down air, or like a back air, and then you get the edge cancel.
Yeah.
It's like, it's more about like the height you're doing it. It's pretty easy to like get into a rhythm if you practice like certain heights. Like if you full hop right here and then like fall a little bit, and then you get the edge cancel. Like it's mainly about positioning yourself like with your drift to always like get yourself into a comfortable situation with the edge cancel. So it's like you're just kind of just like doing a rhythm essentially with your drift to get the right spots to edge cancel in. It's like a lot of the times you'll see like in between stocks, like some people just like go back and forth the like edge cancels like this. I messed it up, but this is what I do a lot. I just literally just practice this in between stocks, and it's really good because like just forcing yourself to put in the same exact situation over and over again. It gets predictable though, I will say, in game against really good players. Like you try and do this, and then they just like Fox goes for an up air right there and like hits you for it. Like that'll happen, but just a baseline, having that down is really important. And then like once you get that down, you can be like, oh, I can start mixing up when I do that kind of do the edge cancel in general. Like I can do a short hop one right here, or I could be like, I could bait that I'm doing the full hop one, and then I just double jump and then go to the top platform or Waveland off the top platform. Like it's just like, yeah, the edge canceling stuff is really, really important for, I would say, the Fox matchup the most, but it definitely levels up your gameplay like in the other matchups too. But it's not like, let's say like Marth like really needs edge canceling on his like downers and stuff, but like Puff really just needs edge canceling for the Fox matchup because you can just like do like down air and then up falling up air, and then you can catch Fox trying to jump at you. Or like a lot of the times in an edge cancel, it's really good once the move actually hits the opponent, because then they're like going to be in hit stun, and there's really like pretty hard for them to actually escape what you're trying to do after. So edge cancel, just practicing like just setting up a specific timing, like I just do the full hop one and then just do this over and over again is really important, because like once you do that and like look at where your feet is really good too. Once you do that, you'll just like, it'll get pretty intuitive to where like you don't have to even think about like where your positioning is. You'll just be able to edge cancel. But that's basically what I do for edge canceling. Was that good?
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now they're literally to the game.
It really just needed to be explained because I couldn't quite grasp it. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's basically just setting up like the same sequences like over and over again. It's kind of like a single player type of experience with movement sometimes. All right. So, like I said, I'm not gonna go into any like specific game plans because I don't think that's productive. But just starting out, like,
I'm horrible against Marth.
Yeah, the reason why I think you're horrible against Marth because you use a lot of pounds, but I'll talk about that in a second. So,
Okay.
In general, with your movement, you never really want to do these kinds of like empty jumps to like go to a platform, because I'll show you right now what I really mean by that. So this is what you do. You kind of do like these jumps like this to try and get to places, but you can do this as a back air and you're moving way faster. So I'll just do this jump and I'll do a back air instead. You see how I instantly got all over here? Whereas if I do a jump, I have to like drift all the way over there. It's like you instantly go the farthest you can with a back air. It makes your momentum so much faster off of a jump. So whenever you want to try and go like to the top platform, you want to be like back airing to the top platform, or like going like this, and then you can do a Waveland. Like that's just really important with Jigglypuff in general. Like the other characters can't really do that because they don't have multiple jumps in the air. Whereas like let's say Marth tried to do this, like he would have to land on the ground because he can't really, like he would have to double jump and then Marth without his double jump is like gonna be screwed against like Fox because they'll just like go for an up air or something like that. So the other characters really can't do it, even though it still applies to them. But with Puff, it's just like you can just do a back air, back air, back air, and you're going so much faster than doing jump, 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 jump. It's just like, do you see the difference?
Yeah, and you're also protected.
Yeah, it's like,
Kinda.
yeah, you're protecting yourself, and like, just say like a random, like, they just try and jump at you with a forward air, like, even if your intention isn't to actually cover their bad option, you can just hit them for it because you have an air, you have a hitbox out, like you said. Like, it's really, really, really important for Puff. It just, even if you like, dude, there's some times where throwing up mindless kind of aerials like that is bad, because let's say you're high in the air and you're trying to do like back air to try and like weave your way into the ground, and Fox like knows that and it tries to trade with your back air with an up air, then they can kill you off of it, and your back air doesn't really like protect you against an up air because it's coming from below. So like that's like the only time like it's pretty bad to throw out an aerial like that. But instead of doing like back air, you can just do a nair, and then it's like kind of the same difference. Like it's faster to go down with a nair than it is to just like go down with nothing at all. But yeah, that's like really important movement stuff for Puff. It's pretty, it's like even more important than the edge canceling for sure. Okay. It's like, yeah, you're just going really slow. So it's just like very obvious. I also, another thing is, do you like, have you like consciously fast-falled before?
Not
like,
consciously, no. I'm working on that.
Yeah. Whenever you're practicing L canceling, always practice with a fast fall in mind, because basically with Puff's aerials, if you probably noticed, you don't really have to you don't have to fast fall most of them. The ones you want to fast fall are like, pull it up. It's like, these are the type of aerials I would fast fall. I'd be like this low back air, because it sticks out really far. That one was pretty bad. But like that one, we get 3 straight there. Okay. Okay, I'm really slow in my directions. Okay.
I see it, yeah.
Yeah, you see it? Like, you see how like my foot's sticking out so far? That's like, that's because I'm doing okay, that wasn't a fast fall. That's because I'm doing a fast fall low back air. So that's like a pretty common situation with Puff, is you want to try and get a fast fall low back air, and that covers like an opponent running away or like dashing back essentially. So like that's like one application of fast fall with Puff. Another one is the edge canceling I was talking about. Like that up air right here, you want to fast fall that up air, because if you do no fast fall, you see how slow that is, and like doesn't really cover that much distance, whereas this up air covers way more distance, and it'll be actually able to hit the opponent more times, whereas like the slow one is just not gonna really do much. Like that doesn't do anything, whereas this one, let me do this one. Wow, I messed up. Okay, you get the picture. But
Yeah.
Either way, it's like those are like two pretty big situations you're gonna be fast falling. You don't really want to fast fall nair that much. That's a move I wouldn't really think about fast falling, because of the way it works. Like you kind of want to touch your opponent at the very end when you're landing with nair, so you can try and get a grab or like an up tilt or a rest or something like that. What else? So you want to fast fall drill sometimes. Doesn't really matter that much. I would still practice fast falling drill versus not fast falling drill, because there's a big difference between this drill right here and then doing this drill. It's like sometimes you can get like different hitboxes of drill. You don't use drill that much, but I'll talk about applications in a second. But yeah, those are like the main situations I'd be fast falling. And like forward air is pretty good to fast fall most of the time. I usually don't want to do this type of forward air. Doesn't really cover that much. This fast fall forward air usually will be able to hit shields pretty easily. And then falling up air, again, like this is pretty good to fast fall. There's some sequences you don't want to, but this is pretty good to cover. Like let's say a Fox is like full hop nairing at you, they just do a low fast fall up air, and then you should be able to like beat it or like trade with it much of the time. So fast falling is really good. I would just practice anytime you're doing an else cancel, just do the fast fall with it. Yeah, obviously want to try and get a frame 1 fast fall most of the time, but if you can't, that's fine too. It's more about like when you practice a bunch, you'll just get faster and faster, so it's like not a big deal if you can't do like the perfect one right away.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, do you have Wavedash options at all, or do you just have like a OEM controller standard?
I have a fully modded GameCube controller with slick boxes and trigger plugs and everything.
That is sick. Yeah. I think Wavedash nuances are pretty good. I can tell you're, I think, going for them right here. That's just gonna come with time for sure. There's like some optimization behind like short hopping for your wave dashes versus full hopping. Like it's a little more lenient timing. I think I honestly full hop, but it doesn't really matter. You just want to try and get your wave dash like frame 1 as much as possible, but you've been saying you're working on it, so it doesn't really matter yet. But if you did, you could probably beat Marth here. Okay.
Yeah, I think I was messing up my wave dash because I'm so afraid of sorties. Like I feel like I can't hit them.
Yeah.
And that's why I pound so much, I guess. It's like I'm just trying to get in and then I get popped at the end of it.
Yeah, let me talk about Pound now. So Pound's like, you probably understand it by now. It's a really good move in a lot of ways with Puff because it knocks down the earliest of all of our moves besides grab. And having a knockdown with Puff is awesome because they miss the tech, you get a jab reset into a rest. I don't think I came up in this at all, but I assume you've seen that before, Hungrybox doing it, but yeah. That's good to practice in general, though, by the way. So Pound's good in terms of getting you a knockdown, but you can't really throw out Pounds, especially against Marth, like, for no reason. You have to get to, like, 5%. So, like, you can get, like, one backer, and then you can start going for Pound versus the entire cast. That's just, like, something you can always do. But against Marth, he's just very hard to hit with Pound because he can just dash back, or he can just, like, wall you out with a fair. So against Marth, it's not that good, but Pound's just really good because it gives you an early knockdown, and especially against Fox, like Hungrybox will go for like he'll do like do like a waveland off the platform, or he'll do a shield drop into a Pound. That's just really good to try and hit your opponent dashing into you, or they're trying to respect your back air distance. Like a back air goes like a little bit less than a Pound distance. Like Pound goes further than back air, so a lot of the times you'll see Hungrybox just like start the game with a back air, but then he'll like instantly after he does the back air, he's already starting to look for going for a Pound because it'll catch them trying to whiff punish your back air. So that's a pretty common Puff situation in general. You can just like, once you've shown that you're going to go for a back air, then you can start going for a Pound. It's just like the level 2 mix up is essentially what it is. But that's pretty important. Also show you some other situations you want to Pound. Not necessarily in neutral, but in terms of like combo game and stuff. It's a good thing at the Falco game, if we get to it, like you do a lot of up throw rest, so that's good. But once you get to the part where you can do up throw up air regrab, which is like, it's a pretty common combo, you can do like a Pound after what I just did essentially. I don't know if I'm gonna get the DI again, but because it's DI dependent. But you get up throw up air, and then you can go for basically an up air or a Pound. Like the first time I did Pound, and it leads to a rest. So like the good DI for a Pound is the bad DI for an up air, and vice versa. So in terms of like spacey combo game off of an up throw, you can go for a Pound or an up air like interchangeably. And that's like where else you would up air. I mean where else would you Pound besides neutral? But yeah, that's essentially what Pound is. But go back to the game. So yeah, it's like when you get these types of hits, you always want to try and look to see if you can get another hit. When your opponent isn't crouch canceling, which this Marth isn't, you can try and just basically get another hit right away. Whether that means they're going to try and shield you, or if they're just going to sit in place. Like anytime you see an opponent just sitting in place, or like right here, I would just throw out a back air. There's like no risk to basically throwing out back air versus an in place opponent. If you do it auto cancel one, do you do auto cancel backers at all?
I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, I'll show you. Because auto cancel backer is like the one to do in general with most characters. It's very hard to punish. So this is an auto cancel backer. See, I'm getting the auto cancel, but it's like you don't have to L cancel at all. Is basically what the auto cancel is. Like you start the backer, and by the time you're about to touch the ground, the move's already over. So you have no lag. So this is like a pretty common.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is a pretty common back air to go for. Like if you ever had an in-place opponent or you're trying to cover a dash in, this is like the back air to go for. Whereas like the one I was talking about earlier, the L cancel one, is mainly the cash dashing back. So this is like the main type of back air you're going for. You can also do it off a full hop too. So this is like.
So when you fast fall that, you don't have to L cancel it.
It's not you're fast falling it. It's just you're starting the move, and by the time the move is over, like you've already touched the ground. You're never really fast falling an auto cancel, because if you try and fast fall an auto cancel, you're getting this back air. So this one's just no fast fall. You're just doing a back air instantly, basically when you try and jump. Because it's just, it'll be like pretty easy to understand. Like this auto cancel is an easy one. Like this is easy comparatively to most of characters. Like if you were trying to go for an IT's auto cancel up air, it's a lot harder than what I just did. Like I'm just using C stick and jump with Y, and this is like I don't even have to think about it. It's not that like difficult of an auto cancel comparatively to other characters. You probably done those backers, but you probably just didn't really understand what you were doing.
Yeah, I just didn't know what it was called. Yeah, I didn't know what it was called.
Yeah, so whenever you go for those hits backers, do not press an L cancel, because you're probably going to get a shield into a roll. So that's pretty common too. Okay.
I should be back airing.
Yeah, you should be
moving around.
You should just be back airing and moving around right now. This is fine. Okay, so recovering is a big thing, like that I think is hard to understand. With Puff, it seems so easy because it's like, oh, okay, well, I have 1,000 jumps, so I can just like jump, and pound, and get back. But it's like there's nuances with that because the game has evolved to the point where people are good at hitting Puff off stage. So Hungrybox makes it look so easy a lot of the time too. But generally, when you're trying to recover with Puff, you want to be facing backwards and back airing, because again, like you're saying, it like protects you, so that's very important. So I would always be turning around when I'm recovering. And in general, the safest way to recover is going high. So like to do that, I'll just show you an example of how I would recover against like a Marth or something like that. But it's like I'm off stage, I'm doing back air, I'm doing pound this way, and I can just air dodge up. That's like the safest way to recover in this with Puff in general. Say I'm down here, doing back air, I'll do pounding sometimes here as well. See how I messed up a little bit, but because I was just trying to demonstrate, but pounding, and then I just can't get hit up there. Like I don't have to air dodge right there. I can just go like Waveland instead of doing the air dodge instead. But you'd like coming from below, you can get like down aired from Marth, you can get down aired from Falco, you can get shine spiked by Fox. It's so much harder for your opponent to hit you when you're off here and then trying to pound upwards. So that's a pretty common way to recover with Puff in general. You want to be facing backwards and then pounding to the side, like over here, and then you just pound up, and then you're back to stage. Because if you try and pound like here, Marth just goes dash back forward smash. Fox just goes like crouch up smash or shield up smash, and that's like basically how you just lose games really fast. You don't really want to pound.
Yeah, I get spiked a lot trying to do what you're saying, like when I'm coming from the bottom, because I guess like it's a bad habit from playing Ultimate.
Yeah.
I always try to get to the ledge and grab and then get up.
Yeah. And
so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, also talking about that, if you have to go to the ledge, there's a lot of sequences where going to the ledge is better than pounding up. One, it's because sometimes the opponent will just give you ledge for free, and that's awesome for Puff, because she's pretty good on the ledge. So whenever you're on the ledge, it's like, you want to have invincibility most of the time, and do this type of back air to get on stage. So like, this is really good, because you don't want to necessarily be fighting out of the corner, because you get, let's say you try and like pound from the corner, even if they don't do an up smash or like a Marth forward smash, they can just like forward air you with Marth or do like a nair with Fox, and you're off stage again. And then you're just going to be rinsing, repeating, and doing this type of pound over and over again. And it's just not really productive. Like, doing this turnaround back air is really safe. You can do it either on the stage like that, or you can do it like more like passively like this and try and go to top platform, or try and go to a platform. And you just mix up like between the two, or you can like I said earlier, you can like Waveland off the top platform, and that's good too, or Waveland off the side platform. And then you basically want to make it as hard as possible to make your opponent's job really hard to actually hit you. Whereas like doing these, like this forward air is also a pretty common one that people go for. That's bad in a lot of ways because it's very easy to punish. Like let's say your opponent's shielding right here, You do this forward air, they can just shield grab you. They can up smash out of shield you if they have that. They can go for like Wavedash turnaround, like down smash, forward smash. There's a lot of situations they can go for. They can go for like, let's say they're Marth or Samus. They can go for like up B at a shield, and they can just hit you off that. So like this is bad. I mean, it's okay. Sometimes your opponent will let you get this, but I would prefer doing this always because it just reinforces a good habit. So you don't want to do this, and you don't want to do this. You can also Waveland on. Sometimes your opponent will respect you enough, and they will not hit you for doing this Waveland on with no glint. There's just no invincibility. Or you can practice doing the ledge dash, which has some situations that are pretty niche. Like you can do like.
So you said don't pound off of the ledge grab.
Yeah, don't pound on the stage like ever in general. Okay. There's some situations where your opponent is like being really aggressive with their edge guard, and they're like over here, and they're like about to be off stage. Sometimes you can pound them for that, but in general, it's pretty greedy. Like maybe if you're up like 4 stocks to 2, and you think your opponent's gonna be really aggressive to try and kill you because they're tilted or something, you can go for the pound. But I would definitely just advise not going for this pound, this forward air. So I would just do, you can do tournament winner, just get higher in the air. You can tournament winner on stage if they are like over here and they're not ready for you to do this. This is an aggressive option, but it's hard to pull off usually. But yeah, that's basically how you recover in general. And it's really important to like build a strong foundation on that, because good players will just mess you up and then you're like, wow, I feel like I'm a noob. Even though like you're doing well with like your other stuff. It's like, it's pretty easy to just like turn off your brain and then just like throw out pounds. So just like you have to like,
that's my game.
Yeah, no, it's really important to recover properly. Like, that was a fine forward air, but it wasn't, like, the best. I would have just gone to ledge personally, but it's not a huge deal. Okay. So, yeah, he could have actually...
I sent you some really bad games, too. I wanted you to see, like, really bad games.
Yeah,
I didn't send you anything where I did anything good or anything. I wanted you to see the bad shit. Like,
yeah, I think this is better than doing, like, a really good game, too. But that's more helpful for sure. Okay, so
I have a lot of missed inputs. Like I'm still working on a lot of like when I'm off stage trying to pound to like how you were doing.
Yeah,
I'll end up singing or something. So, but that just comes with practice, I know.
Yeah, it comes with practice, and like you'll get a handle on it when you just like see it over and over again. You're like, oh, it's really bad to pound in this spot because I told you. But so. Oh, well, a big thing that you don't do is you don't crouch enough. So crouch is really good against Marth. It's a little bit weird because he can grab you, but like in general, like in the Falco games too. So when you're at low damage, you can basically crouch cancel most moves in the game as Puff, and you can crouch under the grabs a lot of the time too. Like some examples of like things you can't crouch is like Marth's down air. Falco's down air. You can kind of crouch cancel grab it sometimes, but that's a little bit iffy. Fox's down air. And yeah, those are like the main like 4 I would say. Oh, and Falcon's stomp. So basically you want to like, whenever you land, you kind of want to be crouch canceling or just like going into crouch and then just be ready to crouch cancel their move. Let's say Marth is like, I'm going to go for a like forward air here and you're crouching. You can just crouch cancel the forward air and then just click shield grab off of it, and or do like a jump cancel grab. Both of those like are true off of a crouch cancel. So that's very important with Puff. You don't want to really be shielding that much at low damage, unless you're playing like against someone that wants to go for the moves that break crouch cancel a lot. Like let's say they go for a lot of down airs with Fox or Falco, or they go for a lot of down airs with Marth and Falcon. So basically, like, crouch cancel is just really, really good to just throw out with Puff. It's not like, I don't say the word OP, but it's really good to just, like, whenever you land, there's no reason to just shield at low damage when you can just crouch instead. There's some nuances where shield is good, like I was saying, and there's some nuances that is actually spot dodge is good. Like, against Marth, spot dodge is pretty good, because it's harder to crouch under his grab, like I was saying. But in general, whenever you land at low damage, just crouch. You'll basically figure out, like, either through watching Hungry Box or by playing when you should not be crouching, like I was saying. But as a default for right now, I would just start just pressing down anytime you land, just holding down and seeing what happens. Because a lot of Puff is reacting to what they do in a lot of situations. But yeah, that's pretty big for sure. Because you just like got grabbed there for no reason. Whereas like if you were crouching, you could have forced the Marth to miss their grab. And you could just rest it. So it did really good. That's just a percent thing. Like the reason why I was talking about Pound is so good, but also like bad, is because it's really good to knock down. Pound doesn't really knock down at this percent anymore. So like this is a general thing with Puff. When you have a character at this high percent, you just want to be using downer. You don't use downer at all. So I think it's really important to do. And then like I'll just show you options off of downer, but you probably know some of them. So let me get Marth to higher percents. So a big one that's been going on Twitter lately, it's been downer to rest.
Yeah.
So that's a classic that's been going on Twitter. But this is kind of situational. Whereas like this downer up smash is just the classic one. It's just really important to go for that against floatier characters like Marth. You can also go for downer forward smash. It's a little bit harder to link than downer up smash and downer rest, I think. But
definitely have to work on my smash attacks for real, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Also, like, this doesn't come up in the games at all, really, but off of a Wavedash, you can do, like, Wavedash forward smash. This is a really good option in general, but it's, like, good at low level, and it gets like, worse at mid level, but at high level, you can be like, oh, they're not going to respect the low level option, just go for it again. It's, like, a really good option. Like, you can do Wavedash forward smash out of shield. That was just a little bit of tangent because you mentioned that. But yeah, down air into grab is another big one. So just practicing all your down air setups is really, really important. You have to practice them on different characters because there's like slightly different percentage ranges you can go for down air. Like against Fox, for instance, you can go for like down air into grab at like 80-ish, whereas Falco, it's not the same thing. It's probably around more like 90. But yeah, you need to practice going for down air at higher percents because in true combos, there's no way for them to escape down air into up smash unless they smash die out of it, which in case you can just be like, I'm doing my downer, you can just follow their SDI. Let me try and do like 100% SDI. Alright, we'll see how good I can follow this. But yeah, I just kept drifting towards Marth there when he was SDI. And again, you can just keep drifting towards them. You just basically follow their drift with your down air over and over again if they try and SDI out. And then yeah, it's just like really, really important to close out stocks at higher percent with down air versus going for like a pound or going for a back air, because you skip having to actually hit them off stage and edge guard them, which in a matchup like Marth is really good because Marth is really hard to edge guard, which you probably know. So yeah, down air, you have to work on down air for sure. That's probably like, besides the movement stuff, is probably the biggest one I would go for sure.
Replace my pounding with down air.
Yeah, it's like not even like pounding as well too. You can do like, if you're doing a back air or forward air there instead, you can also just down air. Like just like getting yourself into a good habit of going for down air is just really important. Yeah. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about in this game. Find it. I don't think it comes up till over here, maybe. Over here. I'm trying to remember where this was. Okay, I'm not finding it, but I'll just show you what I mean. So also with recovery, sometimes you would be in this spot right here, like facing away from ledge, and you have to like back your way on. But you can just go like this. You can just sing, and it grabs ledge backwards. So this is a really important thing about recovering.
Okay, I did not know that. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a little bit finicky sometimes too. You can just miss the ledge, but it is really important because, like I was saying, you want to be facing backwards to get on stage most of the time with back air.
Okay, so I noticed, I literally noticed this over the weekend watching Pal. I noticed Hungry Box doing that. I was like, why is he singing on the ledge like that? I literally noticed this. I was like, why is he singing on the ledge? Like, what is he doing? So that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, it's like just, you can get screwed over really easily if you're just doing jumping like this and trying to like back air on the stage. They can just like Wavedash back forward smash you, whereas you could just go for sing and then you're on ledge. And also sing grabs ledge faster than jumping to it a lot of the time. So it's really good to just practice. You can even do a sing right here. It's really good too. Sometimes it'll like like this thing, like right here, where the hitbox doesn't really come out. Like you see how this thing is different than that thing. Like you can see like the rings of like her voice, essentially. Like that thing is really good to avoid moves. So even if you're facing forwards, you can do that thing. That's very good.
Yeah, the one that HBox was doing, there was no music notes. It was just I just noticed it off the eyes. I was like, why is he singing? Yeah, okay. Makes so much sense now as to why that was used and why I should do it.
Yeah, it's really good on backwards, obviously. It's the main use, but it's really good to avoid moves sometimes when you're facing forward too. But,
and you had a pretty deep rank pound too, right?
Yeah, I got 33rd. It was pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Also, something that comes up in... I'll just show it in the Falcon game, actually. We've pulled that one up. But yeah, that was the first part. Let's pull this up. So Falcon is completely different, so I'm happy you sent 2 different characters. This is really helpful. So it's good because you're way better against Falcon because you have the rest, which is cool too. But let's see. I like how you're throwing out grabs in general. Yeah, against Marth, you're kind of scared to throw out grabs, probably because you didn't really have a follow-up in your head off of it. Because a lot of puff, what happens if you don't have like an up throw rest in mind, it's very hard to like even press grab. But how puff works a lot of the time is you condition your opponent to shield with a back air, and Hungry Box is really good at doing it. But you'll just do like, you'll jump at them and then you'll just do a turnaround grab when you land instead of doing the back air at all. That's basically how puff works a lot of the time versus every character. But obviously with Falco, like going for a grab is awesome because you can get up the rest. Whereas the other characters, like going for a grab is not as good because you can't really get a direct follow-up. So you just have to like understand that you have to throw out grabs versus the other characters too. Obviously I don't have a sample size of 2, so but he didn't throw out a single grab versus Marth. So it's still
like, yeah, I'm terrified of Marth.
Yeah, he's just like he's pretty hard to deal with because a lot of times Marth is pretty counterintuitive. Like I always give you a little bit of the matchup. It's like you have to like be on the ground so much and like have really good control of your wave dashes and like have a really good crouch cancel and shielding game. Whereas like that's not really like the other puff matchups. Like the other puff matchups, you're gonna be in the air a lot of the time. Whereas on the Marth matchup, you want to be like short hop back airing on the ground, and it's just like really unintuitive comparatively to the other ones. So that one's a little bit weird for sure. But yeah, so right, it's about to come up, I think. So you never really like you do these types of back airs. You never really contest people jumping or being on the platform in general unless it's a knockdown, because we didn't see it, but I was trying to find it in the Marth game where you hit him to the top platform and then you go for like an up air on his like mistech, and that was like good, but you don't really like throw out an up air unless there's like some type of knockdown sequence. Like up air is really good to cover jumps in general in this game, and also really good because it combos into rest versus almost every character. So you just need to like use up air more in these spots where like you're reading your opponent to jump is basically like how it works. Sometimes you can react with an up air versus certain characters like Sheik. You can like react to her jump and like crouch next to her and like full hop or short hop up air her jump. Like that'll happen. Same with Falcon. But in general, just throw out up airs in these spots. Like this is just really good to throw out. Like instead of doing this type of back air right here, you just go jump one more time and up air, and then you kill Falco. But there's some nuances between like rising up air or falling up air, like I was showing you earlier. The falling one's good to cover like if you probably tried to up air Falco before and he just beats you with his down air. That's like, it doesn't work though if Falco's down air at you and you do a falling up air. It's very hard for Falco to beat that. So that's like the difference between doing like, I'll just show you in game what I mean too. So like doing this type of up air is a rising up air, then doing this one is a falling up air. So like this falling up air beats moves that are coming down on you, like a Fox down air, like a Marth down air, like a Falcon stomp sometimes, but mainly a Falco down air is the main one you'd use this on. So this is like this up air is used to cover moves that are coming down on you, whereas this up air is to try to cover a jump or cover like it's mainly cover jumps. There's some other nuances, but I'm not really gonna talk about them. But yeah, that's like it's really important to use up air too. So your main move right now is like forward air, pound, and like sometimes nair. Like it's really good to up air and down air. Those moves are just really good with Puff. Probably honestly her 2 best moves. But
so just to recap, what you just said was like I need to be contesting that middle platform when I get them up there.
not even just the top platform, but the side platforms too. You don't up air the side platforms either. Let's say you get Falco in the corner. He's gonna be scared of you because let's say he tries to roll in, you can get a rest on him. Let's say he tries to down air the corner, you shield grab it, he can get rested. Like Falco doesn't have a lot of options in the corner, whereas like in center he has more options. So he's gonna want to jump out of the corner onto the platform a lot. This is every character in the game. This is just Falco. You can just read their up air or react to it, and just read their jump and then react to it with an up air, and then it's just really good for you because a lot of times you'll get knocked down the platform, get up air rested, and then you're just popping off. So just using up air to cover jumps is just so important in melee, for sure. But edge guards are pretty good versus Falco too. This is something that'll come up versus every character, but you can kind of hit the ledge right here. Let me show you in game with a downer that kind of edge cancels, like doing this downer right here. You don't have to edge cancel it, but doing this downer timing, if you've ever watched a Hungry Bucks set versus Fox or Falco, he'll do this a lot. So he'll do this downer, and this covers them trying to hit the ledge with their up B. Or let's say it's a Marth player, you can actually hit them for up being as well for doing this too, if they don't sweet spot it. This loses the sweet spot versus like Marth, but this is gonna happen versus every character like that's trying to up B up into you, like Falcon too. So you just downer the ledge like this. You don't have to even hit the ledge with an edge cancel. You just do this type of downer timing, and that will beat their up B, and then you just go out there and forward air them for trying to recover again. It's basically like a resetting of the edge guard. Sometimes you can do a forward air like this one to try and do the same thing, but the down air is just like more consistent. So this was just like an optimization type thing, but this comes up in so many matchups, so it's really important. So like you try to like jump out there and try and like probably intercept them like this way. It just doesn't really work, where you could just like down air the ledge and you would have gotten the kill. Okay. See how like slow this type of movement is, just like drawing on the back air thing. Like this is just like so slow. Like Falco has time to actually come out, you know. Obviously Pound isn't that good anymore. Like I was talking about, like Pound's like only good at like really low damage because it's like the only thing it knocks down. Like about now I'd start downering. Wow, that's crazy, that didn't even hit him. But let's see.
It was a missed input.
Yeah, it was a missed input, but that is funny. Okay. So
I mean, a lot of my kills are them killing themselves, so you know.
This is like a movement thing where a lot of the times you go for these like dashes, but the reason why you're working on wave dashing is that you can just wave dash instead of doing a dash right here, and that's something that's important. Is a lot of the times you just go for these types of dashes when you play the game, where you could just be doing a wave dash instead, or you could be doing like a short hop and like just do this instead, because you have the option to go for a back air. You know what I mean? Like this is better than doing a dash a lot of the times, because out of a dash you only want to be like you're only gonna get like a dash attack or like a dash grab, whereas a wave dash is completely different. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Pull up the game again. So this happens a lot in melee, where right here, someone's just gonna throw out the same thing over and over again. So there's two things that'll happen here. They're gonna keep throwing out their option, just hoping you run into it. This is a common one, especially at lower level. Or they're gonna recognize they're doing something stupid and try and escape. So this Falco decides to shield as their escape option, because they thought they were doing something really stupid after like the third up tilt they go for. But you just kind of back off. You don't really want to back off in this type of spot. You kind of want to like punish them for either trying to escape this like kind of bad like neutral play. So what I would do here is I would wait out this I would wait out till when they stop doing the up tilt, and then like I would like wave dash grab them for shielding, or if I expect them to like jump, I would just call out their jump with an up air, because a lot of times people don't want to like be just doing something like really like mindless and neutral over and over again, unless like they think it'll just work on you over and over again. That's a different story. If they just keep doing this up tilt, then I would just like forward smash them for doing an up tilt in between the hits, or I would like just back air them in between the hits too, and like not even think about it. But that's a pretty common thing in Melee. You're probably going to see it a lot too, whereas people just like throughout this, they just like throw out forward smash, they just do like roll forward smash over and over again. Like either they're going to go to like a different, they're going to try to escape and go back to real neutral, or they're going to keep doing the same thing over and again. So that's just something you got to think about in terms of Melee. But let's see what else I want to talk about. That was pretty sick. But I was saying you got that. So I know you. So don't go for down air at this percent though. This is a little bit different for down air. It's actually the only time I think you throw out down air the entire time. So you only want to go for it when it true combos into grab or rest or up smash. So that would really only be around like 90% versus Falco. So before that, it's a little bit scary because before like 40-ish against most characters, it doesn't give you frame advantage. What I mean by that is you can't go for like down air into grab. So before like 40-ish, they can just do an option that beats like you landing onto them with a laggy move, which for Falco's instance, you can just click shine at low damage. But once you get to like 40-ish, you can kind of use down air again, in the sense that they have to roll or spot dodge to try and beat a grab, because that's like what down air is supposed to be leading to, right? So they're gonna throw out like a roll or a spot dodge, and then you can just be like, oh, I'm gonna down air at like 45, and then I'm gonna read their spot dodge and wait, and then grab their spot dodge. That happens a lot too. So Hungry Vice does that a lot lately. It's kind of cheesy in a lot of ways, because you're just trying to hope it works, where you could just be like, I'm gonna go for like an honest grab, like land grab, and try to like read them, or like actually react to what they're doing, and not just play like a guessing game over and over again. But I don't know. It's like, it's kind of okay to do. You that
was a missed input.
Yeah, obviously that's a missed input. But have you practiced like when they land on the platform, or do you like practice on like FD, like up the rest?
Mainly, if I do practice with platforms, I'm in the middle. I never practice with the side platforms.
Yeah, it's really important to practice with the side platforms too, because, and you also should be mixing up like what stages you do for the up the rest, because it's a completely different game obviously when they land on a platform. Sometimes when they land, they can actually get rested before, let me show you, before they land on the platform. Fox, get them to like over here, we can put them to like 40-50%. Let's go for an up air. Wow, let's go no DI. Okay, see how I could rest them before you actually touch the platform? That's something that only really comes up when you're up throwing them from right here. So like when you're underneath the platform, the entire thing changes. You can just go for up the rest again, but then let me put them at 10%. See how I had to go for a tech chase there, whereas like before I was just going for raw up the wrist. So that's like the reason why I need to practice like everywhere with up the wrist. So that's very important. There's like flowcharts in terms of like what you should do. Usually they're from center stage though. It's not from the underneath the platform. I honestly want to look at like what percents like it knocks down and which ones it doesn't, because that's something I could probably optimize in my game too. But you definitely want to practice like changing the percents as well too, to make sure that you're not just only doing 0% off your up throws. But yeah, that was something I also wanted to talk about. Okay. I feel like in general though, you kind of like jump away from your opponent a lot of the times, instead of like trying to land with them and trying to hit them. Like against Falco, you don't really, like, Falco is a pretty private character you don't want to give like a lot of space to, because when you give space to Falco, you know what's coming out next. It's just the laser. So in general, if, like Falco, this applies to like Fox and like Sheik too. You want to be like close to them like at all times. So that's just like something that you just got to keep in mind, like your spacing. It's also like you don't want to give players too much space because puff with space is good, but a lot of the game comes down to center control with Jigglypuff. You don't really want to be in the corner unless you're like in the lead, quote unquote, I would say. But yeah, you can just like basically land towards your opponent a little bit more. Now, I'm not saying like land on top of them, but like land like a little bit outside their range. Like let's say Falco's on the ground right now. I would want to land like here a lot of the time, just to try and hit him after he does anything. It's just really good. Okay.
You don't have to.
This is something you just don't do yet, but the main options out of shield grab's probably like the, against Falco in particular, but I'm gonna relate this to every character. Shield grab is like pretty, I want to say the word bad, but it kind of hopes that your opponent's like messing up their spacing. Whereas like you can try and go for like an up smash out of shield. I don't know if you know the inputs for that, but essentially you can just do like a jump cancel up smash out of shield, and then that lets you just invalidate some people's shield pressure. Let's say Falco's doing down air shine on your shield. You can actually up smash after the shine and try and beat them before they get another down air out. That's a pretty common setup. Let's say like Fox is jabbing on your shield. You can like, or Sheik, you can try and like after they finish their last jab, you can try and up smash them before they do another input. That's a pretty common one. It's pretty important versus Falco. You also Hungry Box to up smash shield a bunch. It's very good versus him, but in general, it's really good as well too. You can also Wavedash out of shield, which is really important. I think I was talking about Wavedash forward smash earlier because that's a pretty common setup to do it. But anytime you're just like in shield like this, you basically have up smash out of shield. You have Wavedash out of shield, which basically allows you to do like, you can do Wavedash turn around grab. Let's say you're right here, and then you want to try and turn around and grab your opponent for trying to down air your shield or something like that. That's really important. You can jump, obviously. That's the worst option besides shield grab, because there's no reason to jump out of shield when you can just Wavedash or up smash out of shield. Like, it's just like, it's kind of just unoptimal, if that makes sense. Because if you just jump out of shield, you have to wait to do like an aerial. So
I have to work on my smash attacks because like when I get them, if I go for them, it's very lucky that I get them.
Yeah, it's like the only situations you can really get smash attacks is like down or up smash. You can go for up smash out of shield. You can do like, sometimes you can do like back air, and like at like 0% they try and like run and punish you and do like up smash like this, but most of the time it's better doing up tilt if you're gonna try to catch an opponent like trying to hit you. But the main way you get forward smash is Wavedash forward smash, especially out of shield, or like Wavedash back forward smash, but sometimes you want to do like Wavedash back grab instead. So that's like basically how you get smash attacks a lot of the time too. And then like down smash is like pretty niche when you use it. It's like sometimes you want to cover a spacey like up B with a down smash or something like that. That's like the only time I would use it. Or like covering like an opposite tech with a down smash sometimes works too. But let me go back to the game. Okay. I want to get back to one last thing I wanted to really talk about. See, this is actually what I was talking about with up air. Like, you don't do it on the side platform either. Like, right here, you keep going for, like, a back air right here. Like, you see how close you were? Like, what if you just did, like, an up air instead in that spot right there? That would have been really, really good. Because then you would have been in knockdown percent for up air rest. It would have been great. So, also, this is, again, like, landing so far away from your opponent. It's, like, over here. You don't have to go all the way over here. You can just, like, go closer and take center. Because he gave you center, you know?
For a few minutes.
That makes a lot of sense.
This is what I wanted to talk about. Do you know how like Meteor Cancel works essentially?
No.
So on, especially against Falco side B, when you get hit by it, you can just press up and just negate the knockback completely. So not completely, you get hit by the move still, but you don't get like sent all the way to the bottom like you do. So you can just like if you use a jump, let's say you use, let me just go into the game again. Let's say you do jump and then you do a double jump like this. So this would be the first jump, and then you do this jump. You can just keep holding up after you do that jump when you're about to get hit by a Meteor Cancel move. So like the most common one is that side B. You can also do it against Falcon Stomp as well too. Like if you saw
Isn't this what happened? Yeah.
Yeah.
Genesis to Hungry Box. Yeah.
Hungry Box was a different situation because he didn't time it well. Because if you don't do jump and then jump again, you can't do this holding up strat. So if you aren't in that situation, a lot of the Meteor Cancels come from just timing. So if you do it with, if you try and jump before the move hits you, you get locked out of doing another jump input for the Meteor Cancel for 40 frames. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot. So that's how Hungry Box died, because he tried to jump too early or too late. It's probably too early. So you basically want to jump as the move hits you, and then in some nuanced situations you can hold up if you've already done a mid-air jump. If you haven't done a mid-air jump, you do this jump, you can't hold up. You have to do this and then this. So that's pretty common. So against Falco Saibi, you should never die. Even if you're so late on the Meteor Cancel, let's say you get hit by it and you're down here, you can just definitely hold. You can definitely not be locked out for that many frames and just press up again. There's some situations...
Okay, so just basically just make sure if the side B's about to come, I have double jump.
Yeah, either if you've already double jumped, you can just keep holding up when the side B is about to hit you, or if you haven't done a double jump, just go for a jump timed right when it hits you, because you don't want to time it early or after. So you just want to time as it hits you, and then sometimes you can do like Meteor Cancel Pound is pretty good to try and like negate any momentum and try and hit them for it. But even if you don't think you've like gotten hit by the move and you're all the way down here, just press it again and hopefully you'll just get back. It's pretty hard to not get killed. It's pretty hard to get killed by Falcon or Falco's meteor moves, unless you just like aren't paying attention, or like your last stock game 5 of Genesis. But yeah. I don't know. I don't think Hungry Box should have died by that. That's a different tangent for sure. See if there's anything else I want to talk about. But I've talked about most of the stuff I want to go over.
Yeah,
so.
This has been very, very insightful.
So if you have any questions right now while I finish out this game, that'd be good. You can just ask anything for sure.
I mean, you pretty much give me a lot of stuff to work on. I definitely want to make this like a monthly thing, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not like I've talked about like the basic stuff. I think once you get like this stuff down and just like practicing a bunch of like Uncle Punch, probably do less friendlies, I would say, for sure. Like I don't think this is like being productive really that much. I would just be spending my entire day, if I'm like playing melee, just doing this over and over again in Uncle Punch instead of like playing against people. I'm not saying it's like bad to play against people, but for your instance, I would just do like 90% in Uncle Punch or like 80% in Uncle Punch and do like 20% in friendlies is like what I would do right now.
Yeah.
It's like once you get through this part of the game where you're like doing movement, then we can just like focus on like game plans and stuff, because I just don't think that's like productive yet for sure. Okay. I don't think I talked about this, but whenever you're like jumping towards a platform, there's like pretty much no reason to like jump on it. Like you could just waveland onto the platform. So I think just practicing your wavelands too is really important. Not even necessarily like waveland off the platform, just wavelanding onto the platform. Just because it's faster than just jumping onto it is always good.
I get killed by that a lot.
Yeah, it's because you just use a lot of pounds. Like you do this pound, then you do this pound. Pounding above their heads is like pretty annoying to do. If you do that type of pound, you can just probably like most of the time try and drift up. If you can try and like jump out of it, a lot of times that works. Where it's like those pounds are supposed to be quote unquote safe unless you get hit by like a jump back here. You can try and air dodge out of those situations too. If you find yourself in a weird spot, you can just click air dodge sometimes and just get out. Like those sequences will also like right here. If you did this if you did up air right here instead of doing this forward air, that would have been really good. That's basically a big application of it.
More up airs on the platforms, more back airs in the air, less pounds.
Yeah, that's
Drills,
probably
the
the
5% is
yeah. Those are like the big stuff for sure. And then like movement out of shield, like right here, up smash out of shield to shine, and then you just get a free hit for sure. This is like the same type of situation I was talking about earlier with the top platform. You do this type of forward air here, which doesn't cover anything, and then
yeah, it doesn't do anything at all.
Everything just falls down to you instead of going for an aggressive up air. Sometimes you can't go for the up air, like you just miss your timing window to go for it. In that situation, you want to do the falling up air, like I was talking about, or just like you can just get out of the way and wait for Falco to come down. If he doesn't want to come down, you can try and like go to the side platform or chase him, which works too. But you get up the wrist, so it was sick. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. So if you have any questions again,
I really don't. I mean, you did a great job.
okay.
You gave me a lot of stuff to work on, and yeah.
All right. Have a good rest of your day.